Yeah.
And me and Josh on my Handshake, sadly.
Comfortable with that magic. You know that I'm about to smash it. It's true.
Alright. Thank y'all. Let's do our handshake.
I could take it to the room or I could take it to the beach. But we gotta leave at 9 cause I gotta get my sleep. You could be the early bird, I'ma give you that worm. Get with me, I'll take you around the world. Cause if it's gold, I'll throw it away. You're worth more than every single chain. Walk with a lamp, it just means I'm cool. Next trip I take is just me and you. You know where
But without further ado,
I guess to close it out, we'll do our handshake.
indeed, episode 10
Signing off.
in the books. Welcome to the Handshake. We are the sports podcast to the high five. We talk mainly on Florida sports, FSU, Florida football and baseball, Tampa Bay also.
We dive into the latest news and stories surrounding these teams. If you want to stay up to date when we post some podcasts or videos, follow our Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. Links with both will be in bio. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Episode 13, kind of like
13.
12.5, really.
Yeah, since the last episode was a live of me and him pretty much calling the FSU Florida baseball game, and then we posted something a little bit afterwards, kind of talking about that. Also, some trades that were going on. But we are back, so I guess episode 12 and a half, episode 13 is on.
Yeah,
It's
13. Another week.
Another episode, another week.
Another crazy amount of stories to talk about also.
Yes, quite a bit. We have,
Yes.
I believe,
I think
we have 8 things on the list today.
that is a good bit.
8 separate things.
It's probably the most we ever had.
Yes, which might not be or might be a surprise to y'all, but usually we have like 5 things.
Yeah, just
Maybe
5 or
6
6,
things
yeah.
that we can just go bounce back and forth on. But we have a long slate today.
A long slate. But first, before we dive into all things that we usually do, we like to get into our random story of the week. All right, well, I had a very crazy story of the week from this past week.
Please.
So I've been out of town for almost 2 weeks now.
Yes, he has been gone quite a bit.
Yeah, as of last week, you probably heard of the last 2 podcasts. I went out to North Carolina the first weekend with my buddy Jacob for his bachelor party. But this past weekend, I left on Wednesday, came back this past Monday. I went up to Tennessee, the Gatlinburg, and I went over to Bristol, Tennessee, and watched a NASCAR race, which was awesome. And while I was there, I was able to meet one of my favorite NASCAR drivers,
That's right.
Ross Chastain. I got his signature on this jersey that I got on Saturday.
Yeah.
Got him to sign it on
Beautifully
Sunday.
conservative.
And I also got 2 of his cars signed, which is
Guy's
pretty
a big,
cool.
A big Hot Wheels NASCAR guy.
Yeah, which these aren't Hot Wheels. These are just actual authentic next gens by NASCAR. So this one right here on the bottom, if y'all can see it, it is the one from when he did the Hail Melon to make it into the playoffs, passing 2 guys. And this one, I think, is from his first career win in the NASCAR series. So that's pretty cool. I like those 2. But yeah, that was the crazy part of it. But the sad thing is he did not win that race. He had a couple of issues with the tires, but we're going to get into that about the race. But ended up our buddy Dalton's favorite driver, Denny Hamlin, won the race. So, yeah,
Sad.
a lot of people weren't happy at the track. A lot of boos were there.
A lot of boos were there.
A lot of boos.
A lot of Kyle Busch fans, probably.
Oh, yes. There was a lot of Kyle Busch fans there, a lot of Chase Elliott fans, and a lot of Ross Chastain fans. So, yes, all those people do not like Denny Hamlin.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, that was quite a little busy 2 weeks that you had.
Man, I did way too much. I had to have a vacation, off a vacation yesterday. I took a long nap before we went to go see the FSU Stetson's game last night.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Well, I guess that gets on to my story of the week. So he kind of brought it up towards the end of his. We ended up going to the FSU Stetson baseball game last night. Got there a little bit late because, of course, we have to work. Everything, first pitches at 5 o'clock. I hate first pitches at 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Me
terrible.
too. It's god-awful.
People have to work. People have to make money. Traffic's terrible down there. It's going to take you forever. I mean, these need to be at least 6:30 first pitches, which they want, of course, the younger generation to be there so they can go to bed early, the game's over quicker, all that. But I would like later starts. But anyways, we did go to the game, got there around, you got there.
I got there at first pitch, right when I showed up.
First pitch?
Yeah.
Okay. Which I didn't realize that Trey Benson threw the first pitch for the game last night. Didn't realize that. Jermaine Johnson and Jared Verse were also at the game.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that. But I got there around the third inning. It was a really good game, which we'll get into, I guess, whenever we talk about the FSU UF, how the teams are doing. But it was a fun game. I mean, me and him went to go. It was 3 other of my coworkers got to go as well. One of them is on crutches right now. He had a interesting spring break. He stepped out of a jacuzzi or a hot tub, and there was a broken bottle on the ground.
Oh man!
He stepped on it, and he cut 2 major arteries in the bottom of his spine.
Oh my goodness!
The first day of spring break.
That is crazy.
Yes,
I feel bad for him.
It was so bad. Lost a bunch of blood. They had to put him on painkillers, all this and all that. He's on crutches, which you saw him in a little boot, but
dang.
Which I guess it's not really a story of the week for me. I guess it's kind of rolls in the story of the week for him because that's a tough way to start your spring break. It's very first day you're out for the count.
That is, it's kind of like Aaron Rodgers NFL at Jets career.
Yeah. No swimming, couldn't go out and do anything, couldn't go to the beach house, none of that.
Yeah. That's sad.
Tough. That's a tough way to spend your this was, I believe, his first spring break as a college kid.
Oh, that's sad.
It actually is, yeah.
Dang.
Man.
Poor kid.
Jeez. Oh, man. Carson, if you're out there, you're probably not watching this right now, but we feel bad for you. I really do apologize for your spring break having to be ruined like that. But,
yeah.
Well, that kind of wraps up my interesting random story of the week, so we can start jumping into the big, juicy news.
Juicy news.
Quite a bit of it. But, I guess, oh, goodness gracious. I guess the thing that we can start off with is something maybe not a whole bunch of you know about. If you follow me, you definitely saw quite a bit of it. But Clemson has now come out saying that they are filing a lawsuit against the ACC to leave, which also means that they have joined sides with FSU, pretty much saying we are out, we are done, we deserve more money, we are worth more than this, we're done.
Yeah. But before we dive into the big news about it, we actually found leaked footage of FSU and Clemson talking about the situation at hand.
Oh,
so
yes,
we are going to play
right.
that for you real quick.
Listen, I know that we started out as foes, but after that courageous act that you showed me against the one they call Derek, maybe someday we could become friends. Friends who ride majestic, translucent steeds, shooting flaming arrows across the bridge of Hemdale.
I would follow you into the mists of Avalon, if that's what you mean.
That is absolutely hilarious.
Yes. I'm glad. It's taken this forever time, and we've been saying, oh, why hasn't Clemson done it? Why hasn't
Yeah.
Clemson done it? I guess something finally cracked it up in South Carolina that made them
Mhm.
want to do it.
It was kind of like rumored that they were going to follow suit with
Yes, that is true.
FSU, but it was kind of a surprise how they did it. Um, they just came out of the blue and it
Yep.
was just like, we are going to do this too. We don't like what's happening with Florida State. And I kind of like the little brotherhood y'all have. And I hope that little brotherhood joins the SEC.
Yes, with this happening, it does open a whole bowl of what could happen.
Mhm.
Also, kind of on that same area of the Clemson doing the lawsuit against the ACC, I also actually did see something that was leaked with the news coming out also with the Clemson FSU kind of joining teams, I guess you could say, is they also released some of the teams who were for
Oh, yes. I
the
forgot about that.
ACC, I guess you could say, cross suing
Hmm.
FSU for what they're doing. And I'd say two really big names that stick out. One of the names is actually shocking, so I guess it's a third team that sticks out is Miami,
Yes.
Wake Forest, and the newcomer SMU.
Mm. I don't know. I don't understand why SMU would do that, but I guess it's a little Twitter battle that they've had with FSU Barstool recently.
I guess, or maybe it's that they're worried now that they jump ship.
Probably,
And
yeah.
now the ACC is slowly crumbling after they just signed. They have
Hmm.
not played a single snap of football in the ACC in 3 years. Who knows where they could be?
They haven't even gone to a media day yet.
No, they haven't even got to. Man, media day.
Media day is going to be
Media
crazy.
day is going to be crazy because now, and not just FSU, because it looked like FSU was going to have the target on their back,
Hmm.
especially like, for instance, like Jeff Cameron, Corey Clark, Irish Rafael, some of the FSU media writers who go up there for media day. But now Clemson's guys are, slowly adding to the mix, not taking as much heat
Hmm.
as far as FSU only doing it. But now they can walk in, hands holding, being like, we're out of here in 2 years at least.
Yeah.
See y'all later. Y'all have fun.
Peace out. We're going to get out of here. We're going to go
Yes.
to a better conference that's going to make a lot more money. Um, in the article that I read earlier this morning, talking about how they were going to, Clemson was making a statement about coming out of the ACC into either the Big Ten or the SEC. They were talking about the numbers that the Big Ten, they make $58.8 million per year. The SEC makes 49.9, while the ACC fluctuates between 37.9 mil and 41.8 million. And that was just a taken from 2022. So there's a big gap in between what Big Ten and the SEC is making and what ACC teams are making. So there is a large statement that FSU and Clemson has about leaving the ACC
Oh,
for a
without a
better
doubt.
contract per se.
I mean, the fact that you can literally just switch a conference and automatically make your team $20 million more in revenue a singular year is
Mhm.
crazy. What can you do with 20 million more?
Oh, so much more with your stadiums, your facilities,
Your NIL
recruitments, yeah,
program.
NILs. Like, man,
That's what I
that's
don't
why.
get about the Big Ten, for instance. They've
Mhm.
had, which is actually a shocker when you actually look at it, playing down just to numbers. A lot of people thinking, oh, the SEC is the powerhouse as far as the money goes. It's really the Big
It
Ten, and
is.
it's almost by a whopping $10 million.
Mhm. The Big Ten, with how they have their licensing contracts with
With
Fox
Fox,
News, or not Fox News, Fox Sports,
Fox News.
um, and how they distribute their money with their schools, it helps out a lot with what they have with basketball and all that kind of stuff because they're always on the air up north. Down in the south, we only have the SEC network, and we only have like a few things to watch. And the ACC network is the same way. There's only like a couple
Garbage.
reruns of like stories that you can see.
Is the
Like
ACC network or SEC network really not good?
it's somewhat good. Like there's some things about it that are all right. Like you got the Paul Feinbaum show. A lot of people don't like it, but there's that. That's the only big name daytime show that you can watch. There used to be Marty McGee. I don't know if they really have that anymore. Um, but a lot of times they're just rerunning these food sources, like TV shows that they did about like different places in the South that do barbecue. Or there's like reruns of old football games, or if there's a basketball game, they're going to show it. Hardly ever get a SEC baseball game. Like you would think they would be showing all the time an SEC
Oh
baseball or
yeah.
basketball game. You only get one game, like a day to watch. Because like you know how
What?
Big Ten Network, they go back and forth between games
Yeah.
while like during football season. They don't get that with the SEC Network. You just get that one game all through it, which is nice if you're watching that team, but there's not a lot of publicity to every single team. And it's the same for the ACC Network. For people that pay for the ACC Network, they know. And
So bad.
yeah, it's kind of at that point where ESPN is lacking from what Fox Sports is doing. So that's why the Big Ten is getting paid a lot more. And a lot more people up north love college football. Like, I know there's a burning passion of Southern football fans for college, but that's more in person. Like, I know there's a lot of in person up north, but there's a lot of people that watch football up there. So there's a lot more broadcasting
Mhm.
for the Big Ten.
Oh yeah, and especially with the Big Ten, I mean, even with the Fox Sports app, I mean, you're
Mm-hmm.
able, or yeah, Fox Sports app, you're able to see games that I guess ACC Network would be on ACC Network,
Mm-hmm.
like that a lot of people can't see because they don't have the ACC Network, and some of them aren't even played.
Yeah.
On Fox Sports app, you can get all of the games that are actually being. There is a camera there filming the game. You
Mm-hmm.
can get it on the app. A lot of them can't do that.
Yeah.
You,
It's
you get
crazy.
like 4 or 5 games, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's your Saturday.
Yeah, baseball is so weird. Like it's I hardly ever get to watch a Florida baseball game on TV.
Yeah.
Same with Florida State. At Florida State, you actually used to like watch a local channel, be able to watch it,
Yes, it
but not
was
anymore.
amazing.
Yeah, but it's kind of at that point where like only when they're going to be on like a big game on ESPN or maybe SEC Network because that's where the Florida State game was
Mhm.
this past week because played in Gainesville. Now, this week being in Jacksonville, it might be on ESPN. And then when it's up here in Tallahassee, it might be on the ACC network. It's kind of weird how it's laid out, but it makes sense in the same way. But I don't know. They
It is
should
a
be
little strange.
more broadcasting. If ESPN, you know, they wanted to do higher broadcasting for more people, you would think they would have more options to watch games,
Yeah.
but they don't.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. 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 Well, really,
But there's more into the ACC argument.
it it's gonna be very crazy to see what 2025 looks like.
hmm
Because I feel like even by 2025, things can be going sideways, and your North Carolinas, your Virginias, your Virginia Techs, your NC States, like
hmm
they're going to be like, I don't want to be here anymore. Now, of course, it seems like Miami and Wake Forest and Syracuse and SMU and one other team just want to sit,
Yeah,
chill out, not want to do anything. But I mean, you have even like Virginia wanting to be like, yeah, I'm out. See
yeah.
y'all later. I didn't want to be here.
Well, you have all these schools that are like real big in basketball that are like powerhouses in
Oh
basketball.
yeah.
They want to get out and make their name for themselves in another conference. But you got people like Miami that they know for a fact they can't compete in the Big Ten, the SEC. So if not there, they're going to the Big 12. And the ACC has such a good reputation and name still behind it. The Miami wants to hold on to that. But
And
everybody
actually be able
else,
to win a conference title.
yeah, everybody else right now sees the writing on the wall. So they're like, let's get out of here. We got to go.
Yep.
So,
The people who actually want the best for their programs 20, 30 years down the road are doing it now.
mhm.
And those programs who aren't doing it now in 20, 30 years are going to be in a completely different spot. Now, Miami might be a little bit different because they're a private school. They're always going to get that private cocaine-funded money that they've
Yeah,
always gotten since the 80s. But still, it could be changing. I mean, it already is changing. Who
it
knows
is.
what college football could be like in 20 years?
Hmm. That's it's incredible how much it changes just by the year.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, for instance, kind of on a little side note, it just came out that, I mean, they're going to be changing it to 14 teams.
They accepted that?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So in 2026,
Might as well have the top
so
25 start playing against
2024,
each other.
2025, you're going to have 12-team playoff, and then starting in 2026, we will have 14 teams playing each other.
That's insane.
I love it.
It's cool, yeah. I love it. More football, yeah. But that's
16
insane.
games,
Like,
16.
I
Oh,
don't know.
wait, no, that's going to be 17. That's going to be almost an entire NFL season.
That's adding on a whole nother season. That's crazy. Of just games itself.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a lot of highlights. A lot of things to talk about. That keeps us in the podcast
Oh,
business.
yes. Keeps us in the podcast business. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. But it's good to see that Clemson is finally coming around with what the reports were saying, let's say 2-3 months ago, where Clemson was saying, yeah, we don't want to be here anymore.
Mhm.
It's nice to actually see it finally come to fruition and them actually wanting to back out now, which, of course, the ACC will now probably file suit against Clemson the same way that they did against FSU. It will be interesting, actually, if they do or if they don't.
It would be really weird if they don't. But would you see that coming?
I
If they slap FSU in the face saying you can't sue us, and then Clemson sues them, and they're like, oh, okay, that's fine.
I feel like at that point, if that actually happens, I feel like an agreement's going to come to
Mm.
Clemson and at least Clemson and FSU hightailing it to another conference
Yeah,
because they got reloaded with, I mean, not reloaded, but they have Cal, Stanford, and SMU coming into the ACC, which they didn't have. So if FSU, Clemson, and North Carolina or whatever leave, they have those teams already set up to have those fill-ins.
hmm yeah,
The travel's going to suck, though.
that's good.
I'm so glad if we get out because even if we're in Big Ten football, we are staying in the East Coast.
Hmm.
Like, I'm not having to go like the furthest. Well, I'm not talking about all the way over.
Yeah.
Forget those teams. I'm just talking about like Minnesota.
Would you travel to Ohio to watch a game?
Like an Ohio State FSU game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be
I'll go to
crazy.
Michigan,
Would you go to Illinois to watch a game?
Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would like to go to an Iowa game.
an Iowa game.
Dude.
No, not with that football program. I love the atmosphere of the Iowa thing. It's just
Yeah. Ooh, what if FSU plays
Dude.
Penn State for a whiteout?
and wears the all white.
That'd be crazy. But if y'all join the SEC, I feel like travel-wise, that would be the best fit.
Yeah, for both us and Clemson for sure. Yeah.
Well, Clemson can do the Big Ten route
Oh yeah.
because they're up there. They can easily make it. But FSU, it's a lot harder for them to travel up north and west for all that games. That's crazy.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of traveling.
Man,
They would be the furthest team from all the other teams for sure.
I never understood how much traveling all those mountain colleges have to travel just to play each other. To go like 20 miles up there in the mountains, it takes almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, because of the
Like
how
going
slow
around
you have to
mountains.
go
Oh,
and
that's
going
so
around
crazy.
mountains and traffic and oh yeah.
It's like when West Virginia probably goes to play Virginia, that long travel that they have to do. Like it probably looks on the map like, oh, it's like 100-mile drive, so they're only gonna get there like in 2 hours. No, that's like 4 hour drive.
That's a plane ride. They don't
Yeah.
even fly probably at that save the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's definitely one of the bigger things we're going to be talking about this evening for sure. But it actually is crazy that Clemson finally pulled the plug.
Yeah, that is insane. Is there more news on that? You want to roll on?
I mean, I'm pretty sure we
Yeah,
covered most of
we
it.
covered a lot on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's roll into the baseball stuff.
Yes. Now, I am a happy camper when it comes to FSU baseball. Now, on the other hand, there's somebody else sitting next to me whose team is not doing so hot that it's usually the opposite.
Yeah,
It's usually the
yeah.
opposite. Usually Florida's good. They're usually undefeated, maybe have a loss by now. That's it.
Mhm.
FSU has 7, 8 losses.
Now this year, Florida has 8 losses right now into the season. Yeah, we're 12-8 right now in the season.
What?
Yep.
No way.
Yeah. Not looking too hot for us. But we have taken a lot of the series. I know that's not a big brag on our season, but we did take the series against Texas A&M. Going into it, Texas A&M was undefeated. So taking those 2 games in the 3-game series was a big deal, but we still didn't have a lot of pitching show up, and our hitting was very down on that second game against Texas A&M. So that even yesterday when we played, I'm sorry.
JU, who FSU beat.
Yeah, it was like 18 to 3 or something like that. Beat JU, but Florida lost last night 7-6 against Jacksonville University. The first inning, they went down. I think it was 4-0 or 3-0 right off the bat. Like the pitching was just, it was out of the place. 30 pitches in the first inning, so we had to take our pitcher out. And
30 in the first inning.
yeah, so it wasn't looking too hot. Next thing you know, we started coming back. I think we had a 5-4 lead, and the next thing you know, they ended up going 7-5, and then we scored one towards the end. Jack Caglione was the shining star last night. He had 2 home runs, so his eighth and ninth home run of the year. Um, so he did pretty good, but you can't really rely your whole entire team on one guy, and it's kind of been the same this whole year.
Yeah.
Or you have a really good, one of our pitchers has a really good game, kind of like Brandon Neely. He's now the SEC Pitcher of the Week, which is crazy because we don't our shining star of our team isn't our pitching staff,
No.
and
Which was actually shocking to me whenever I was reading over the notes before we went on. I saw that stat and I was like, wait, hold on.
yeah,
What?
like our pitching staff isn't that good this year, but we still have an SEC Pitcher of the Week. I don't know how that's possible,
It's
but
pretty dope.
yeah, pretty dope.
Pretty dope.
We're up there, cool. But next week is actually going to be a crazy week for both Florida and Florida State because they meet up with each other in Jacksonville, playing each other.
It's sold out.
It's sold out already.
Man, I was literally about to say, like, oh, we should get.
You want scalp tickets?
No. No. Because the game's at 6 o'clock. That means that we would have to at least leave here by like
2-1.
2 or 1.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a little hard to do. But we're going to watch it on TV.
Yes, we will watch it on TV. That's definitely for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I guess Josh, take it away on the beautiful season so far about FSU.
Yes, FSU has definitely had quite the baseball season this year as they have still a perfect 19-0 record. They've looked impressive in every single game they have played except yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They had a very tough time. They were swinging at absolutely everything. It might have just been the plan from that day is the pitching. People, I guess the pitchers they were going to use yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They just told them to swing at pretty much everything. It was pretty much a pitching battle the entire day, fielding battle, and then 8th inning, I believe it was.
Yes, 8th inning.
Yes, 8th inning, they get a guy on first and second, and then they hit a little blooper that gets it scored. 1-0 game. FSU still undefeated. But, however, they did look very good in this past weekend series against Notre Dame.
They did.
Which is Coach Link's former team, as a matter of fact. He was actually coaching there for a couple of years before coming to FSU, which was, quote-unquote, his dream job. There are some impressive stats that do come out of the 19 games that they have played. 8 out of FSU's starters, so pretty much 8 out of the 9 people in the starting rotation are hitting over 325.
That's beautiful.
Through 20 games. Pretty much 19 games, but 20 games. That's insane.
That is insane. But you gotta love baseball because of that. Like a stat like that, you gotta appreciate it.
Like
that's unheard of.
No, yeah, that's unheard of. And then an even crazier stat than that. So pretty much almost half of those players are hitting over 450.
Jeez. That's insane.
I mean, Mr. James Tibbs was hitting, until yesterday, he didn't have that great of a day. He was hitting 512. 512 through 18 games. That is insane. He which doesn't hold the game that he played yesterday because he only got 2 hits and it was like a single and a double. That was it. The man's raking. He's hitting great. The bats are hot. They're still staying hot. I mean, except for, of course, the one game that did just transpire. But I feel like that's kind of the jitters from this past week. And, of course, FSU is getting ready to play the number 3 team in the country, traveling to someone who we're actually just talking about, Clemson. Yeah. Clemson is the number 3 team in the United States.
So it should be a 1 versus 3 game, but it's not.
1 versus 3?
Yeah, FSU should be ranked number 1, in my opinion.
No, they should be ranked like 6.
You think so?
Yeah. If we beat Clemson at Clemson, like we sweep, if we're not top 5 after that, I don't know what we have to do.
Yeah. Well, I think because y'all are undefeated and y'all played a lot of good games. Like y'all destroyed so many teams. Y'all should at least be top 5 right now. Because when Florida went undefeated that one year for the first
that is true.
12, 14 games, whatever it was, they were 2. And they only played like half the competition FSU just played. And then once they started playing SEC play, they started dropping losses every now and again, and they still stayed up there like top 5 the whole year. And they're still in like the top 10 right now.
Yeah. They are ranked number 6. 6. They
Quality
have lost
losses, man.
against Jacksonville and Stetson, even though these are, which I did see something on Twitter, either it was this morning, pretty much saying that some of these really good baseball players aren't picking FSU, UF, Miami. They're going to Stetson. They're going to FGCU. They're going to JU. I mean, there are a whole bunch of colleges in Florida that have immaculate baseball teams.
They do. But, I don't know. Florida just ain't showing it this year.
I mean, it's a down year as far as football and baseball goes, apparently.
It is.
It's just a rebuilding process.
Yeah. At least we won the hockey national championship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
at least
we're
y'all
in
are going to win
March Madness.
Yeah, at least y'all are going to win the basketball national championship.
I don't think we're going to win it.
Just kidding. Go Tar Heels. I have North Carolina winning it all. Bum, 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 bum.
You're spoiling our next segment after our break.
Oh, you're right. My fault. Yeah. No, I can't touch on that yet. But Yeah, it's gonna be fun watching FSU play. I'm excited for this weekend. I'm a little nervous because we're playing at Clemson,
Mm-hmm.
really good team, and then literally Monday day of rest, and then Tuesday we're in Jax playing y'all.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I think we might drop game 2 in Jacksonville
Dang.
because I feel like we're gonna be too tired. But
I don't know. Florida has a strong series this week. I forgot who they're playing. You might have to look it up. I think it's either LSU or South Carolina. I think it might be one of them too. I love how now you have Florida as one of your save things that you've been looking at. It's a purple.
it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't make me feel good about it.
Oh, Boogie Wi-Fi. Here, let's see if it pulls up for me. It's
Two.
LSU. Yay, I was right. So I could have saved us all that time a second ago.
Yes. So y'all are playing at LSU.
At LSU. So we both are
Lovely.
traveling and then going into Jacksonville.
Yep.
So it's gonna be pretty great. But other than that, we do have some other stuff to be talking about after the break.
Yes, indeed.
March Madness.
Yes.
That is a big thing that is happening. And the UFL, if some people do not know, that is a minor league football that The Rock has created. And I think that is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
So we'll touch on that just here in a second. We'll be right back, probably, you say, 7 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. We'll be right back in about 7 minutes.
Can I invite you to pray? Oh.
Yo, dude. It's toast the podcast time, bruh.
That does remind me. I need to get you on Hard Rock once we're done. I need free money.
Oh.
Oh,
Bets.
both free money.
Bets.
Bets.
Speaking of bets, hope y'all bet for March Madness.
Yes, indeed. Hope you bet for March Madness because
it is officially March Madness.
it is.
Yes.
I am very excited as far as a sports loving standpoint. It's literally over 3 weeks of nonstop basketball almost every single day.
Yeah.
Also, as far as a person that does a little bit of sports betting, it is also amazing to me as well because it means that I have multiple games to, just throw a little pocket change on, maybe win a little money, who knows.
Yeah.
But this is a great time of the year.
It is. I'm not a huge basketball fan. I'm not somebody who goes out of my way and watches basketball all the time. But March Madness is so much fun to watch because
Oh my
you do
gosh.
not know who's going to win.
No.
There's colleges you've never heard about are in March Madness and somehow end up having a run for it.
Yeah, they'll beat like a team, let's say like Virginia, who plays not good basketball whatsoever as far as a looking standpoint and also as a winning standpoint, as we saw a couple nights ago when they lost. But it's crazy when even a 10 seed knocks off like a 5 seed. Like when you have like an 8 seed make a run into the Elite 8. I mean, 99% of the time you have a 1 seed or a 2 seed as the final 4 seeds in the final 4.
Yeah.
You don't have anything really higher than that.
No, you don't. And it's crazy when you see somebody upset one of them high seeds like that.
Oh yeah. It really is crazy. It's like you have a feeling for that fan base. Like, for instance, if you put it in a football perspective, it's like when Appalachian State all those years ago beat Michigan.
Oh, that was crazy. It was like everybody somehow became an Appalachian State fan for a bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Goliath getting knocked off by David. Like, somebody who you thought wasn't going to win pulled it off and beat the person who they thought was either going to make a run or was going to win a national championship.
Yeah.
Which we have seen before. Teams that were projected to go to the Final Four and or were even projected by Vegas to win the national championship get bumped out like first, second round.
Just because they get outsmarted by a school that nobody's ever heard of.
Exactly.
And a lot of times in March Madness, it doesn't come down to the talent of the players. It comes down to, like, if you can outsmart and outwit your players. Because we've seen it happen a lot of times in the March Madness.
Oh, yeah. And also, I mean, some of these teams have a hot guy that gets real hot, and he'll somehow score 30-something points, and they'll win. I mean, I love those nobody teams. It's a good story for sure. I don't think, looking at them as far as this season, a lot of higher seeds are going to have a run. But there are a few 4, 5, maybe even 6 seeds I could see making a deep-ish, maybe even a pretty deep run this year.
Yeah. Who do you have going to win it? I know you teased it a little bit earlier, but who do you have?
As far as... Okay. I guess I'll pull up. I mean, I hate to say it because it makes me feel bad as far as an FSU fan. I feel, I mean, North Carolina's definitely the powerhouse this year.
You think so?
They're the one that I think is going to end up winning it all. But like I said, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I have them winning my bracket. Yeah. Oh.
I have Houston winning mine.
Which, see, I feel like Houston is going to be like a second round kick.
A lot of people have said that, yeah. But Houston's that one team. They've shown a lot this season. Like, the more I look into it, more Houston starts looking like a team that could go all the way and win it. Because they've been hot recently.
Yeah, no, they have been very hot recently. I feel like the really big teams that people have to watch out for, of course, is North Carolina. I feel like Iowa State's really a good sleeper 2 pick. I mean, they're like a top, I'd say 5-6 team in the country. They can make a decent run because of where they are as far as the bracket goes. They would have to beat a number 1 seeded UConn that I feel like is good, but I feel like Iowa State would get that pull through as far as the Elite 8 goes. Which is actually kind of shocking this year. Duke is a 4 seed.
Really?
Yes.
Well, Duke did get knocked out pretty early in the ACC tournament. So did
and
North
they're
Carolina.
not as good as they usually
Yeah.
are.
Well, North Carolina got upset by NC State for the championship.
But North Carolina's had just such a good year this year that there was no way that they were getting kicked out of the number 1 seed at all. Another good team is a team you hate.
Oh, gosh.
One that I think will play North Carolina.
There's a kitty out there.
There is a cat. Not your
Is
cat
that an orange
either.
cat?
Yeah.
Huh. It's another cat on my property.
Huh. Interesting. But to get back on subject, Tennessee. They can make it. They might be able to.
Yeah. Well, Alabama can make a run for it too. Alabama's been a good team this year.
So I have I put it in kind of my notes. Some of the teams that I feel like you kind of have to watch out for as far as upsets go definitely this year are going to be Auburn, Duke, Alabama, and Gonzaga, which Gonzaga surprisingly this year is actually a 5 seed. So they're usually like a 1 or 2 seed, but some of these teams have, like Duke, have slowly kind of fallen off a little bit. But of course, you do have a few teams there, your big heavyweights.
I do think everybody is overlooking Florida. And I'm not saying this as a homer. I'm saying this as in all honesty. Florida's looked hot. In the SEC tournament, they looked really good. And they started towards the latter part of the year. We started looking very good at our away games, and we started showing up and throwing up points very quick in the game. And when we needed to late in the game, we can do it. So I kind of feel like they could go toe-to-toe with these, like, who they play, not first round, but if they beat Colorado, Boise, I forgot who they
beat
play.
Colorado.
It's, I think it's like Boise, Colorado.
Hold on. Do I have them losing first round? I think I do have them losing.
No, you had them losing second round when you showed me the bracket earlier.
Where are y'all? What the heck?
How'd you pass those?
Oh,
There we
you
go.
Okay, so you're beating Boise. Well, you're going to beat Colorado because Colorado's being Boise. After that, don't feel like y'all are beating Marquette.
You don't think we're beating Marquette?
No.
I have a feeling we could beat. If we beat Marquette, I feel like the road's a lot easier from there.
Then you have to play Duke.
I think we can upset Duke. Duke's like another Auburn, and we
And
beat
then
Auburn.
you have to play Tennessee.
We beat Tennessee.
And then you would have to play North Carolina or Iowa State.
That's where we lose. But
But up until the national
to then,
championship.
you know that Florida could be that surprise team that runs up there.
That's true.
Because I don't know. When I did my second bracket where I was having a little more fun with it, Florida ended up going up that high, and I had Florida picked because I was just like, you know what, just screw it. I already had them up this far. Going to pick them to win it. That was my second bracket I was just joking around with. But my first one that I did that I was taking it serious, it was Houston. So
yeah, Houston looks good. Do I think they're good enough to make a run? No.
you don't think so?
I think
See-
I think I have them losing in the second round.
Dang. Same as what you did for Florida.
Do I have them losing?
Ooh.
St. Mary's, that could be a sleeper.
You had them losing in the first round then.
Dang, I guess I do have them losing in the first round.
Dang, poor Houston. No respect from Josh.
Oh, I think they're my only team. No, I picked them. Oh, no. Okay. I picked them to win their first game and then picked them to lose to Texas A&M.
See, Texas A&M has a couple people that are out with injury, so does Florida though.
Yep. And so does Kansas and Kentucky and apparently like 20-something other schools that didn't want to say it until after
their
the seeds were picked.
Yeah. That's crazy.
They learned from FSU.
Yeah.
Keep it shh. Man, what if they would have imagine, just alternate reality. If FSU would have pulled I feel like he'll be better by the time of the playoff game. And then
Do you think they would have put them in?
No. You know why?
Why? No respect.
No, because Nick Saban had to get his final right. I mean,
Yeah.
people want to be like, oh yeah, I guess so.
Well, do you think
Come
they would
on
have made
now.
it in before Texas? Florida State over Texas? Texas was also that one-loss team. Their loss was worse than Alabama's one loss.
Yes, because you can't have FSU in. You can't have FSU behind Texas, but you can't have Alabama outside of it.
I don't know. I could have saw FSU at 3 and Alabama 4 and keep Texas out of it.
What they should have done is they should have put Texas at 4 and left old Alabama to play in the Sugar Bowl again.
Yeah.
And then lose, and then Saban have that as his final game.
Probably. Yeah.
Which, of course, they couldn't do that to him, so they just had him lose in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. They had to have him go out to Pasadena one last time. Or I guess it was his first time going to Pasadena, was it? Has to be his. He had been out there before.
Probably.
Yeah. But going on from March Madness on to back to football, because football is starting up again. I did tease y'all with UFL. I'm sorry. We're going to put that into our next segment. But as of right now, we're going to talk about spring practice. Spring practice has sprung.
Spring practice has sprung. Now, I don't have as much as Jacob has as far as FSU goes, but I do have a little bit now. I mean, FSU starting this year is kind of looking at a repeat of last year, except trying to get a little bit more than what they got last year, of course, with the loss and the playoff snub and all that stuff. They're looking to make a playoff berth this year, win the ACC, do it all over again. Something that is looking good is DJ Uiagalelei.
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 Uiagalelei. I did it right!
He said it for probably 3 to 4 minutes.
So wrong.
Uiagalelei. But
it was bad.
DJ Uwe, as he was going to call him if he couldn't get it right. DJ Uwe, I mean, he's looking good as far as his arm goes. I don't think he's going 100% as far as, like, the running drills and all that. He looked kind of slow, but at the same time, he might be nursing something because I do know that he did get surgery during the off season. I don't remember exactly what it was for, but he might be nursing something low body. That's maybe why, but that ball,
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to watch that in the stadium. That's looking great. I mean, our receivers are looking great. As far as what's coming out of camp, at least as far as I saw, the greatest room we have is DBs.
Ooh, that's...
Apparently the DB room this year, with all the people that we brought in this past season or not past season, but this recruiting class, and with the people that we had last season, it's going to be dangerous.
Ooh, them Alabama DBs.
Them Alabama DBs, them FSU DBs, them Georgia DBs.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting defense. It's going to be an interesting offense with all the, the Alabama wide receivers, the LSU wide receivers. I mean, the guys that we've had here already.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited for the spring game. I cannot wait.
That's going to be crazy to watch.
Oh, I can't wait. Even though the spring game, in my personal opinion, is a complete and utter joke of what it used to be, because they used to have it to where you played 4 quarters.
And it felt
They
like
ran they ran the clock, but the band didn't play. They weren't playing music the entire time. You could hear the players. You could hear the coach talk the entire, you could hear everything.
Yeah.
That's how I wish it was now. I mean, it's more of a show, which I understand. It's more of like celebration, yeah. I'm going there because I want to watch some of our new guys put in some work against our other guys.
Yeah. For Florida, it's almost the same way.
Is it?
Spring, yeah. The spring game used to be like the 4 quarters. It's a full game, and you're watching basically 2 separate teams playing against each other. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
But now, well, it's a lot better now than it was under McElwain. When it was under McElwain, he literally ran practice. It was just practice. They had everything separated. They were running drills and all this other kind of stuff, and you were just up there watching them practice.
It was literally an open practice.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to, especially now with them charging money for tickets, nobody's going to pay money to go and watch somebody practice.
It was horrible.
I'm not.
But now we're at the point where we're back to playing like a little scrimmage type games, and it's a little better, but it's just like hour and a half long maybe, and they're like, "Yep, that's it. Thank y'all for coming."
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little showcase, like you said. Like here's our quarterback. This is what he could do.
Yeah, these are
our running back. This is a setup play for him to get a touchdown.
Our
right
kicker
here.
can kick this far. Our punter can do this, so we can do that. Oh, let's see this Oklahoma drill real quick. Oh, we're gonna have some former FSU, Florida players, whatever, play some flag football at halftime.
Yeah,
and then they're gonna have some concert at the end.
Yeah,
that's it. But I'm still very excited for it because I get to see, of course, new FSU up-and-comers play. Yeah. As far as the coaches, I mean, really the one that stood out, of course, when I'm talking about DBs, I'm talking about our coach, Big Pat Surtain Sr. He's done a remarkable job as far as the DBs go. I'm very impressed with him. there's somebody on the defensive side of the ball that I am not impressed with. I'm not going to get into him. But anyways, Pat's pretty much saying that he's looking at all the new DBs when they're coming in. He's seeing that the ones that are currently there are very abrasive to the new guys. They're bringing them in, putting them under the wing, everything. They're making them better already off the field as well on the field. I know it's the first day of spring practice, but I mean, people are still going to work out. People are still going to do this, even when they're not practicing. So it's going to be interesting to see FSU as a football team as far as spring goes. The more recruits, because I mean, people don't realize with the spring ball and everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot more that they have to practice.
Yeah.
So a lot more.
A lot more. A lot more.
Yeah.
Yes, this is when the spring conditioning and the running, pretty much FSU does this thing where you run until you throw up multiple times and then you're done. But they put trash cans everywhere around the practice facility and just make you run and run and run and run.
Yeah. Well, I did read this morning FSU might have a chance to get another defensive lineman that used to be at Alabama this past year. He transferred to Iowa State, I think it was, and now he's back. This darn pollen, oh my goodness.
Oh, the one that got caught talking about Iowa State that they gave him all the
transfer portal.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw that he was back in the transfer. Oh, that would be a little interesting.
FSU could go after him.
Man.
Yeah. Everybody transferred to FSU.
I did see a quote by Mike Norvell with people, because people like to talk about how, FSU's using the transfer portal, this, all that. Well, he had a point where it's pretty much like, yeah, and y'all talk about us all the time using it. It's because we're actually getting the best portal guys in the nation.
Yeah.
You're not talking about other teams.
Because they're not getting the best guys in the nation.
Exactly.
Yeah. People just hate to hate.
Exactly. It really doesn't matter. Oh, great. You didn't recruit them out of high school? Oh, great. Oh, well, you actually got someone who could show that they could perform at the next level, not shove out $15 million to someone who hasn't even played a singular snap in college football, who could be an absolute bust. Who could be $15 million down the drain, or you could have somebody from Albany, like Jared Verse, who's a smaller guy who needs some weight room experience with Coach Storm, who's done a remarkable job.
Yeah.
Which they interviewed Verse, and they were like, oh, what about Coach Storm and the the weight room, everything like that? And he's like, people that used to play for FSU still come back so that they can get coaching by Coach Storm, so they can get bigger, faster, stronger. Like, people in the NFL.
That's crazy.
Come back to FSU so they can get training.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know that. That's actually crazy. That they'll be like, you know what, instead of practicing and training with the sports people from my NFL team, I'm going back to Tallahassee.
And I want to go get a good workout.
Yeah, like, that speaks volumes.
Very big volume. Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of talks my stuff as far as what's going on as far as FSU in the spring practice starting. I will next podcast have a whole lot more as far as that goes, but I think Jacob has a little bit more as far as what Florida has right now.
Maybe. There is, I know a couple weeks ago I was a little negative about the Florida coaching staff and what was going.
A little negative.
Yeah, about how Steve Spurrier was talking about he has no idea what is happening over there at Florida. It's kind of feeling like once spring practice took off, the offensive line and the quarterbacks are starting to figure things out, and it's not for sure yet, but Russ Callaway is looking like the guy that's might be doing all the offensive play calls.
Oh.
And so he's been talking around and taking some interview questions. And he had some questions about Graham Mertz this past week. And basically, he's had nothing but high praise about him. Earlier on in the interview, he was talking about how last year they had a weak start. Progressively throughout the year, they started picking up about how they felt with the offense. Graham Mertz was a lot more communicative to his offensive line, was better reading at what was happening with the defense coming in. And he feels like what Graham Mertz can bring in and what the offensive line can do, they're going to be able to look out for a lot of these defensive guys coming in on different rushes. And that's something that they were able to pick up towards the end of the season, like, and against FSU, you know. Will you see somebody? Oh, that light turned on. Like in FSU, like, yeah, there was a couple of sacks, and we did have a backup quarterback in against FSU. So there was a lot of miscommunications between the offensive line and the quarterback. But Florida started having a lot of better pass blocking towards the latter part of the year. They did rank very low still in the series because the first part of the year we had a lot of sacks. Graham Mertz also didn't look comfortable in the pocket, so he was running out most of the time, getting sacked. But he's saying so far how it looks in spring practice, which has only been 3 days, and he said how they've been talking through the offseason and communicating between everybody on the offensive side of the football. Things are starting to look more as a team. People are talking more.
About time.
I know. Things are starting to get rolling. They're starting to do things right. And they even interviewed one of the offensive linemen, and he said, I feel good. He was just like, we're communicating great. We know each other. We know the playbook, and we know how to keep Graham protected. And Graham Mertz even came out and said him and DJ Lagway is working very well together and learning off of each other. So it's starting to look pretty well for the offense right now, like a little bright spot right now for Florida football. On the defense side of the ball, looking already decent. We have a couple returners coming in, and it's mostly exciting for what they can bring into the table. But our recruiting that we will be having upcoming, we have 2 defensive guys coming in for our 2025 recruiting class, I think it is.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not official visit. We have a quarterback out of Texas supposed to be coming in, and 2 defensive guys. I think one from Georgia and one from Alabama.
Quarterback from Texas.
Yeah, they're supposed to be coming in, I think, in the next month or so. But the quarterback, he has been in talks. You're gonna love this one. SMU is his commit right now, but he has Baylor, Georgia, Texas, like a bunch of different other schools in talks.
And has SMU?
Yeah, but,
is he from Dallas?
I think he's close by there.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
okay.
but he did go visit Florida at one point, and he said he did like the little lifestyle down there. He got to meet some of the players. I forgot the quarterback's name. Pardon me on that. But hey,
what?
Some people do like the life in Gainesville.
Yeah.
It's like some people don't understand the life in Tallahassee, but we love it.
That is true.
Yeah.
Would you rather live in Gainesville or Tallahassee?
Neither. I like to live close to Ocala, not in Gainesville. Ocala's still weird, too. That's a weird town. I don't know. Ocala's great. I like Ocala. There's actually a lot of beautiful places in Ocala, but some of the people aren't too friendly there, I do have to say.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Which, there's not a lot of friendly people here in Tallahassee, but that's why we have High Five, trying to bring positivity to places.
Yeah, people are interesting here for sure.
Yeah. But that kind of wraps up my news about spring football. I know I had a lot there, but that was just me looking over it and then summarizing it in my head.
You're good. Yeah.
But I think we are going to take a quick little break and then get into our football news. Quick football news about the Texans and the UFL, which we teased about earlier.
That's correct.
And I think one last thing on the NFL side of the ball. Oh, and Bristol. I got to update y'all about my trip up to Bristol. How how fun that was.
That is correct.
Yes. But we will be right back in the next 5 minutes, and we'll get going on that. So what's the weirdest thing you've ever done?
The weirdest thing I've ever done?
Yeah. I don't know. I was just trying to have a little brain teaser on you before we start.
Yeah, you really got me thinking. I don't know. Something that keeps on popping in my head, though, is in order to get back to shore one time, I had to eat 2 fish eyeballs straight out of a fish.
Really?
Yeah. That's not the weirdest thing I've ever done, but that's something that popped in my head.
Yeah.
What about you?
One that keeps popping in my head was when I was little, was hiking on a trail, and I guess you could say I had an accident and I had to throw out my underwear. And it was kind of that moment where, like, you're a little kid and you're ashamed about what you just did, and you just go to toss your underwear, and I threw it back onto the trail, not knowing where I was throwing it. So, like, that was a little embarrassing for me. And I constantly think about that all the time. So, therapy.
Or the egg situation.
Ooh,
that I
eggs?
had. You remember the chicken run when I was younger? Throwing the eggs in my house?
Yeah.
Yeah. Long story short, I watched Chicken Run 3 times. All 3 times I threw eggs in my house. I was yelled at, I was beat, and then the 3rd time my parents just gave up because they didn't know why I was throwing the eggs, and then they realized. After the 3rd time, they had the eggs locked, stowed. They probably had a hard lock, like a padlock on that thing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Every
But,
time I used to watch Bob the Builder, I used to think I could fix things. I ended up breaking things around the house. So, I guess kind of like the same little experience about watching something.
can we fix it? No, we cannot. It
My
is
dad used to
broken.
say that, like, when the thing goes on, they'd be like, "Can we fix it?" He's like, "No, we can't."
No,
I'm like,
we can't.
"Yes, we can." Man. But to get on subject, back to being a sports podcast that we are.
Yes.
There is one day we just need to chill and relax and have a good time, just like we did with the high five that one day. We need to have the high five back and just relax.
We do.
Yes. Before we actually get into it, James's birthday is this Friday. One of the high five members and my brother. And then Sunday is mine and Logan's birthday. So
3 out of the 5 are having their birthday in the next few days, which means we are getting.
we're gonna have some fun. Yeah. So other than that, there is other things that are happening in March Madness, and the start of a minor league football team or league.
Yes,
that
that is
um,
correct.
Everybody is kind of curious on watching. So this past couple of years, there was 2 different conferences or different leagues that were playing. There was the XFL and the USFL. The XFL was owned by The Rock, and the USFL was owned by another company, but used to be owned by Donald Trump way back in the 90s. So this past year, they decided to join forces. Instead of having 16 teams, because they each both used to have 8 teams, they took away 4 teams each from the USFL and the XFL and combined together to make the UFL. And I think it's kind of cool.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, because there were a couple cities that overlapped between both leagues, and there were some markets that weren't very profitable, which was shown the past year on the 2 different leagues. But the 8 teams that they do have, I do like. So for the, hold on, let me pause this. For the UFL ones, they have the Birmingham Stallions. That's going to be people down. Oop, hold on. There we go. So the USFL conference has the Birmingham Stallions, The Memphis Showboats, and it just fades back. Huh. Okay. Well, let me try to do this quick. Memphis Showboats, the Michigan Panthers, and the Houston Roughnecks. The Houston Roughnecks used to actually be an XFL team, and let me transfer back real quick. Houston Roughnecks used to be an XFL team last year.
I remember.
But
yes.
The USFL ended up taking away 5 teams that they thought weren't profitable. And the XFL had 5 teams that were profitable, so switched over the Houston Roughnecks. There were the Houston Gamblers. They were a cool team, but a lot of people wanted the Roughnecks name instead of the Gamblers. But there was a lot of people that came from the Gambler team over to the Roughnecks. Yeah, but the home team that's going to be close by here around Tallahassee area will be the Birmingham Stallions.
Will probably be my team.
Yeah, and they did win the USFL last year, so
Definitely my team.
that's going to be my team. If it was going to be any team from Tampa in this, that was going to be my team because they had the Vipers with the XFL, and then turn into, I think it was they switched over to Orlando as the Guardians. The New York team went to Orlando. But the USFL used to have the Tampa Bay Bandits.
Yep.
And that was the team that I was really excited for. And I was hoping they would at least bring back for the USFL and a UFL now. But hopefully in the future they do.
Yes.
But if we look over to the other conference, which is the XFL, is the Arlington Renegades, the St. Louis Battlehawks, the San Antonio Brahmins. My goodness, I am like all over the place. And the DC Defenders. So those are the teams that came from the XFL, 4 teams that stayed through it. The St. Louis Battlehawks were a team that was a favorite last year that everybody liked because Aaron Murray played for them last year.
Aaron Murray.
Yes. But I think the Renegades were the champions last year in the XFL league that they had. So that's another big team. I think it was Bob Stutz.
That's right. Yep. And then
Yeah.
he had the tequila company that went with it.
Yeah.
The one I like as far as the look definitely has to go with San Antonio. Their
San Antonio
logo
is good.
is dope. For sure.
It's kind of like a homage to the Rock's logo that he has for the Under Armour company, the Rock Under Armour company.
Oh, that's right.
But his is a bull, but that's kind of like
Yeah.
a skull of the bull.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like it. But to go into how the league is going to work, let me go up into my notes. The main question that people have is the difference between the UFL and the NFL, because NFL is everybody's favorite to watch on Sunday. So the UFL is going to be basically a springtime league in between regular season and our off season. So it's kind of be like people that have missed the draft, never made the draft, and was picked up on an NFL team, or somebody who was cut from an NFL team. They get a second chance, basically, to make their name known again and get back up into the NFL. Because that happened with Ben DiNucci. Before he was on the Cowboys and became a meme and actually did really cool things, he was on the Seattle Dragons.
Yeah.
And he was doing cool things for them. And then he came back to the Seattle Sea Dragons and did a lot of more cool things. So he made a name for himself outside of the NFL, and it shows like the XFL, these guys can still play the sport that they love.
Oh, yeah.
And keep going on with it. But people do ask, can NFL players go from the NFL to the UFL and play a season with them and then go back? Sadly, it's a no. That was a lot of questions people were asking, like if they can have stipulations in their contract just to have more playing time and get more practice in. can't do that. Once you have a contract with the NFL, basically you're under lock. You can't go down, play with a minor league team, and then come back up. There is a couple difference on how they do kickoff returns. The UFL ball will be placed at the 20-yard lines for kickoffs. The NFL kickoffs are usually at the 35-yard line. To reduce injuries, usually NFL allows the fair catch anywhere on the field, resulting in the ball being placed on the 25-yard line and for the receiving team. At this time, there is not a definite rule allowing fair catches, making kickoff returns reality in the UFL. The other not-so-subtle difference between the NFL and the UFL is the extra point. How they do the extra point is a lot different. So teams will have 3 different types of ways to make an extra point count. From the 2-yard line, it will be a 1-point successful try, like doing a 2-point conversion. That you'll get 1 point from that. From the 5-yard line, you get 2 points on a successful drive. And on the 10-yard line, that would be a 3-point on a successful drive. I kind of like that because you can I think you can also settle for just the regular field goal. I like that way of adding extra more physical plays into this.
The fact that you can get the ball on the 2-yard line and you have 3 plays to get that 1 point, that's awesome. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The UFL already had their dispersed draft a couple weeks ago, splitting up the USFL and the XFL. They have been running practices for a couple, almost a month now. There is going to be 43 UFL games, 40 regular season games, and 2 conference championship games and 1 championship game. The league is divided into the 2 teams, like we just told you. It's going to be a 10-game regular season, and it's going to be televised on Fox, Fox Sports 1, ABC, and ESPN. So a lot of people are going to be broadcasting these games. So if you are a fan of football, which I am, and I love watching more football than I can get a hold of, when the AFL was around and the USFL had their first run, I recorded every single game, and the XFL during that time. I recorded every single game. I might not have watched every single game, like all the way through, but I recorded them, and I watched so much of it just because I missed football during that time. And I'm at that point where I'm itching for so much football that I'm ready for this, dude. Like, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's definitely going to be a nice addition to more sports going on around the calendar year now.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be nice.
I'm going to love it.
Yes.
Like, NASCAR's getting good now. UFL's starting to kick up. Baseball's right around the corner. Oh, it's good. It's good to be a sports fan.
It's good to be a sports fan.
Yeah, I talk to some people, and they're like, I can't watch sports. It's kind of like watching paint dry. To be honest with you, sports is just, it's an escape of reality.
It's nice.
And it's nice to just turn off your head and watch something that you have no control over, but you wish you did.
Yes. Oh, man. Oh, man. The amount of times I wish I had control over certain things that happened.
Yeah.
Like us kicking a field goal against NC State in 2012.
Yeah, man lives through old memories. There is other news that is in the sports world. Going into NASCAR, we teased you on earlier, is the Bristol race.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun. Kyle Busch, your favorite driver, he didn't do so hot. I think he finished around 20th or so.
20th?
Yeah. Same as Chase Elliott and Ross Chastain. They were all around that range.
Oh.
Yeah. They were about like 12th to 20th around there. But every car, or every driver, I mean, had a blast on that track.
Really?
All the interviews, people were saying, even though there was a lot of tire failure during the race because they were driving on concrete, those drivers were like, it was a blast.
Really?
Because when some people got a tire rotation under green and they got back there on the track, they said it was like playing Mario Kart because they were so much faster than everybody else and they were just going around them.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. There were some teams that let out a bunch of air in their tires and just ran flat tires on the inside just so they can get better grip. they were going through tires. NASCAR originally gave them 9 sets of tires, like 4 sets of tires, 9 each for each team. Halfway through the race, NASCAR was like, maybe we need to give them some more tires. So they gave them a couple more. I think they ended up with like 12 total sets of tires.
Goodness
gracious. So they ran through tires. It's like every 40 laps they were changing tires. Yeah. So there was a lot of cautions, but no big wrecks. It was a fun race to watch because there was not a lot of big wrecks. It was just nothing but racing. And when there was a flat tire, it was mostly everybody had a flat tire at that time, so they were going to pit no matter what.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was very competitive. Denny Hamlin ended up winning the race, taking it from Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs won the first and second stage. But Denny Hamlin did have a strong car. Midway through the race, he went up against the wall, and people thought, man, he's not going to come back for this because he went almost to the back of the pack. Next thing you know, boom, he's back up there in the lead, and he ended up winning the race. It was pretty cool.
Man.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin, I hate on the guy. He's a good driver. And I say this all the time that he's not going to win a championship before his career is over. Sometimes I might think that he might do it, but he might end up being like an old Mark Martin. Like if people that know NASCAR used to watch it back in the day, he's somebody who won a bunch of races but never won a championship. Yep. And I kind of feel like that could be in Denny Hamlin's future because he's not a consistently winning driver. Mm-hmm. But you never know.
You never know.
Yeah. This could be his year. People put a lot of hype around him right now. So, I don't know.
Dalton, if you're listening,
yeah,
put more money down on Denny. Old Denny. Man, I don't like Denny Hamlin. No, he's a good racer.
Yeah,
I don't like Denny Hamlin.
When he won, there was so many boos. Everybody was booing. But there was a lot of Denny Hamlin fans there too. Like we stayed at this resort that was like a little timeshare thing, and they were trying to sell us on this timeshare. We had this big old dinner one night that they were serving us food and blah blah blah. There was this one guy showed up, and he was decked out head to toe, Denny Hamlin stuff.
Oh.
And the guy that was up there, he had his microphone, and he goes, "Looks like we have a Denny Hamlin fan here." And the guy goes, "Woo!" It was so funny.
Oh my.
And the guy looks over, saw us, rolled our eyes, and he goes, "Y'all are either Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, or Ross Chastain fans." And we're like, all three.
Golly.
Yeah. But we had a blast at Bristol.
Good. It looked like y'all had a blast.
Oh yeah, we did. I wasn't able to show the pictures. OBS wasn't letting me upload the photos onto our software, but I was able to do an autograph of High Five onto one of the walls.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you cool. Did? Yeah, you did send me that. That's actually pretty dope.
So now this year, I've done an autograph of High Five at Daytona and Bristol. So
you can find us in multiple locations across the United States now.
Yeah, I should have done one when I was in the mountains. That would have been cool. Dang. Next time.
Remember, kids, graffiti is okay.
If they repaint it every time they have a race, so I think it's A-okay. If you're at a racetrack, that is one of the best experiences, to walk the track, able to sign start finish line, because it's going to be gone by the end of the race anyways.
Uh-huh.
But going out there and just be able to put your name on start finish line and say, I was here on this track, and you walk away and 25 minutes later it's not there anymore, but it was there.
Yeah.
Like you were able to put your name on that track and be a part of the track. I think that's cool.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Nothing like anything else in sports. You can't go around doke, or you can't go around and just sign your name on stuff.
Mm-mm. Yeah, but
That's
at NASCAR
dope.
events you could do that. I love that.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. But moving on from Bristol, there is news back into the football world. And NFL, the Texans updated their uniforms.
Yes, that is right. The Texans. Oh, they're very clean.
Mm-hmm.
Very clean. The white on that color, the white on the black, it looks beautiful. I like the difference when they're going from the red in the numbers going to a black with a red outline instead of what they had before. I do like it. Looks like a little bit darker of a black too, with as far as the helmets and the pants go.
It looks really good. The
Or
one on the
blue,
left,
I guess you could say. My fault,
navy
not
blue.
black.
Navy blue looks mostly black, but if you look at the ones on the left, is the new ones, and the ones on the left are the new ones, and it says Houston up top. Like the old ones used to say Texans. If y'all look to the right photo, the new ones, that is a downgrade in my opinion. But the horns on the side, I think that is an upgrade. It looks beautiful.
Oh, without a doubt. It looks beautiful. They did a fantastic job, like with the FSU jerseys.
Yes. It's just a subtle change, like taking out the blue collar, just doing a white collar is just a subtle changes, makes a uniform go so far. And NFL jerseys have been lacking for years.
They have been.
No class,
they
nothing.
just look bad all the time. Usually, always look bad.
And those Houston jerseys, they're clean. I like them.
Yeah.
Hopefully, there's 3 more teams that are on the rotation to get new uniforms this year. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I think the Titans are one of them. Really? I think so. And the Vikings.
The Vikings are getting new jerseys? Man.
Yeah. So I wish the Falcons could
They
change
lost
their
their
jerseys
creme de la
again.
creme, and now they're getting new jerseys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So far, Nike has done pretty well with the Houston jerseys.
They have. Yeah, they look good.
Yeah.
Look real, real good.
What's left on our list?
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Did we just go through the whole thing?
I think we did.
We did.
Bristol March Madness. Yes.
Yeah.
Look at there.
Dang. Well, before we close out, is there anything else you want to add on for the night? Any special wise wisdom you give us?
Wise wisdom?
I don't know. You might have something.
Remember, 50 cents can save you $200,000 in child support.
Beautiful.
Anything
Absolutely
you would
beautiful.
like to drop on them?
Absolutely beautiful. I got a riddle. Which one do you trust more? A woman saying he's just a friend, or Slicks in the Rain?
Am I supposed to answer it?
Yeah.
Slicks in the Rain.
Slicks in the Rain, baby. That was a good little joke to close this out. But always stay positive, make a friend, and have a good time in life.
Indeed.
Yes.
We will talk to y'all very soon. We will have the podcast up, of course, on YouTube as we usually do. And then, of course, keep up to date on the YouTube. We might try to put some YouTube shorts out there. Same with Instagram. I'm going to maybe try to put out a few TikToks this week.
Yes.
As far as the TikTok page goes. And, yeah.
Hats are coming right around the corner.
Hats are coming right around the
Yes.
corner, and more merch as well. The patch, man, these next couple weeks, it's going to start getting really a cooking.
Yeah.
We're going to have a whole bunch of merch.
I'm
but
back
yeah,
from vacation and I'm ready to
I'm
work.
ready to work. But yeah, thank y'all once again, like we do every single time. Thank y'all for logging in. For the many or few of you that logged in this evening, thank you once again. We will have it live on Twitch and on YouTube here soon. But yeah, 13th episode down into the books, and many, many more.
It's
in
a
the
Taylor
way.
Swift number. Didn't want to bring that up, but hey, we gotta have it for the Swifties out there. They brought the Chiefs to the Super Bowl. Maybe they'll bring us to, a little higher. Go Taylor Swift.
We will talk to y'all next time.
Yeah, so sign out. Thank y'all for having us for
Indeed.
tonight.
Peace out.